Welcome back to Spanish for Beginners. My name is Eduardo and this is Langtech Academy. Today, we're going to be learning about the gender of nouns in Spanish. Yeah, that is right. You may or may not have heard about this, but in Spanish, nouns have gender. There are two grammatical genders in Spanish for nouns, a feminine and a masculine one. Now, why should this matter to you? Why should a Spanish beginner learner care about the gender of nouns? Well, you see, when we speak Spanish, we really like using articles. We use them a lot. Articles, well, in English, would be the, the. And that's pretty easy. That's pretty simple to work with and remember. Since we don't have genders in nouns in English, then we only need the. There is no masculine and feminine differentiation. There is one difference in nouns in English, of course, plural and singular nouns, right? Car and cars, pillow and pillows. However, in English, whether or not a noun is singular or plural, it's still the, right? The car, the cars, the pillow, the pillows. Well, in Spanish, not quite the same. There are differences both for gender and for number, plural or singular. So, when we're learning nouns in Spanish, you will notice the difference between them being masculine or feminine by the article we put in front. If a noun is determined to be masculine, then we put el in front of it. And if a noun is determined to be feminine, we put la in front of it. So that's what it is. El, la. Masculine and feminine. Now, how can you tell when the noun you're working with is either feminine or masculine? Well, you can't possibly learn and remember every single noun there is in a language. I mean, you can try, but you'd probably never finish. For native speakers, we grow up using them. We know which ones are feminine and which ones are masculine. And sometimes we don't really even think about this. But for beginners, as a second language, it might be a little challenging. But don't worry. There is something we can do to make learning and remembering the gender of nouns in Spanish just a little bit easier. Let's begin with where do you look for information that tells you whether the noun that's in front of you is a feminine or masculine one? Well, we always want to go to the ending of the word. So if we're talking about a noun such as apple, manzana in Spanish, then we want to look at the ending of the word. The very last letter would be an A. An A would be an indicative that we're dealing with a feminine noun. So there is the very first thing you need to keep an eye out for. If a noun ends in A, it is going to be a feminine one. And then you can put the article la right in front of it. La manzana. Now, another ending of a word, or another ending letter of a noun in Spanish that helps us determine whether it's feminine or masculine, it's O. O. For example, el carro. Carro. The ending letter, the last letter of the noun here, is an O. And that tells us that it is a masculine one. El carro. So we have two so far. O for masculine, A for feminine. Pretty simple. Let's add one more. If a noun ends in an E, in Spanish, then that is also a masculine noun. A good example of this would be perfume. Perfume. It ends in an E in Spanish, so it is masculine. El perfume, the perfume. So those are the three most common ways of differentiating between a masculine and a feminine noun in Spanish. And those are the ones that usually teachers would tell us about or would tell beginners when they're learning Spanish. Remember, A, O, and E. O, A, A. Nouns that are feminine, as we already said, when we look at the ending of the word, if there is an A, it's usually a feminine noun. But there are some more. So I will give you 5 in total, different endings of words, nouns, that will tell you if these are feminine or not. A, D, Z, I-O-N, and U-M-B-R-E. Or in Spanish, A, D, Z, ion, umbre. Let's see a few examples. A. Manzana, apple. Cabeza, head. They both end in A, so they're both feminine. La manzana, la cabeza. G. Salud, health. Ciudad, city. Both of these words end in D, so they're both feminine nouns. Z. Vejez, old age. Actriz, an actress. Once again, they both end in Z. And as we said before, all nouns that end in Z are then feminine. La vejez, la actriz. Ion, estación, station. Religión, religion. Both of them end in this particular combination, I-O-N, so they're both feminine. La estación, la religión. Hombre, costumbre, a costume or a habit. Pesadumbre, sadness or sorrow. Both of them end in this particular combination, U-M-B-R-E, umbre, so they're both feminine. La costumbre, la pesadumbre. Right, now let's take a look at the masculine nouns. And how can we determine when a noun is masculine? There are going to be 5 rules we need to remember. We already know O, E. In total we have O, E, all the vowels with an accent on them, all the consonants except for the ones mentioned in the feminine ones, such as D, Z, and I-O-N, and a very particular one, any word that ends in M-A. Remember, we said before that a noun that ends in an A would be a feminine noun. So this one is very important to remember. If the ending is not just A, but M-A, then it's a masculine noun. Fun fact, the reason for this is because nouns that end in M-A have Greek origin. Any noun that originated from Greek and came into Spanish needs to be a masculine one. Now, let's look at a few examples. O, dormitorio, dormitory. Banco, a bank. They both end in O, so they're both masculine. El dormitorio, el banco. E. Verde, green. Equipaje, luggage. Both ending in E, so they're both masculine. El verde, el equipaje. For this one, it's very peculiar. All vowels, so A, E, I, O, U, that have an accent above them will be masculine, as I said before. There are many words that end like this, and all you have to do is check if the last letter is a vowel and has an accent. Sofá, a sofa. Té, tea. Café, coffee. They all end in an accent, so el sofá, el té, el café. All consonants except for D, Z, and ion, because those are feminine, remember. País, country. It ends in S, which is a consonant, and is none of the 3 exceptions. So, el país. Amor. It ends in an R, which is a consonant, and now one of the exceptions. So, el amor. Examen. It ends in a consonant, N, and is now one of the exceptions. So, el examen. Corazón. It ends in an N, which is a consonant. El corazón. And the last one, M-A, the one that, if you're not careful, you could confuse with a feminine A ending. But, pay attention, M-A. Let's look at some. Sistema. M-A. El sistema. Problema. M-A. El problema. System and problem. And like that, there are many more nouns that you can use to practice these rules. So quickly, let's recap. For feminine, we need to look out for 5 rules. A, de, zeta, ion, umbre. For masculine, we need to look out for 5 rules. O, e, all vowels with an accent, all consonants except the D, Z, ion, and MA. So there you have it. That is the introduction to the gender of nouns in Spanish. If you're still a bit confused with the articles part, don't worry too much about it. We will revisit it on a later video. But what you need to remember today is that el is for masculine and la is for feminine. Thanks again for watching. I hope you learned something useful today and see you next time.